The Mavericks look to snap their 3-game losing streak as they take on an old friend in Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers. We'll get you ready for tonight's game. Coming up next on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carrillo. We are DLLS Mavs. Appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports for the pregame show as your Dallas Mavericks visit Rick Carlisle and the Indiana Pacers in game number 70 on the season. We'll get you ready for tonight's game over the course of the next half hour, let you know who's in, who's out. We'll focus in on Mavericks player spotlight as well a little bit later on in the show as the Mavericks look to break their 3-game losing streak as they begin a stretch of playing 5 of 6 games on the road. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports. Gentlemen, on this wonderful Wednesday, weather's good outside. How are we feeling today?
It was windy.
It is windy. It's surprising getting knocked over by the wind today.
Sure. I did.
You did?
Yeah, multiple times. But
you didn't get run into a wall.
I'm so excited for this game. Matchup of the year, game of the year. The eyes of the nation will be upon this game tonight. You can't
even fake it good. Good try, though. That was a good try, though.
Yep. Rick Carlisle coaching against his former team. There is a guy on this team that he coached. So, you know, Rick knows the book on Dwight Powell.
I'm about to say, aside from Jason Kidd.
Yeah. So that big revenge game. But otherwise, no, it's a beautiful day. I'm ready for starting lineup number 38. We got friends in from out of town. We got a few people in from the DNVR offices, including Adam Matas, who oftentimes pilots the Nugget show.
And Nikola Jokic. He's right over there.
Yeah, he extended his sincerest apology for the way that the season went. It's nice to be around someone that's
Jokic
enjoying
did
basketball.
Or Adam did?
Maybe, honestly, both, probably.
Yeah, Jokic.
I don't think he would extend an apology to the Mavericks. They traded his boy.
That's true.
That is very true. That's very true. Who knows? Luka might join Nikola Jokic in Denver someday. As
maybe.
Some guy on this show suggested maybe one day. But let's get into tonight's game, of course. Game number 70 on the season for your Dallas Mavericks. Tip-off at 6 p.m. tonight in Indiana. Of course, the Mavericks come into tonight's game 33-36 on the year, 14-20 away from the American Airlines Center. Pacers 38-29 on the year. They are 20-9 so far at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indiana this year. They are a 10.5-point favorite tonight coming into tonight's game with the over-under at 234.5. Let's get you a lay of the land for both of these teams coming into tonight. We'll focus in, of course, on your Dallas Mavericks first. 10th in the Western Conference, just one full game now ahead of the Phoenix Suns for the final playing spot in the Western Conference. They've lost 3 straight and overall 10 of their last 12 coming into tonight. Dallas so far this year 10-11 against the Eastern Conference, just 13-25 against teams 500 or better so far this year. Dallas, of course, in the middle of playing 9 straight Eastern Conference opponents, of course, starting on Sunday against the Philadelphia 76ers. That continues tonight with Indiana, and then on Friday when they return home to take on the Fighting Tim Hardaways of Detroit in the Detroit Pistons. They play 5 of their next 6 games on the road. Do your Dallas Mavericks as they return home on Friday, as I mentioned, to take on Detroit. Meanwhile, the Indiana Pacers come into tonight's game 4th in the Eastern Conference, holding down the final play spot in terms of the home court advantage of the first round of the playoffs, sitting 5 games behind the Knicks for the 3rd seed in the East. They're just up, though, a half game on the Milwaukee Bucks, who are sitting there in the 5th seed. So they've got a lot to play for over the next couple of weeks as we wind down the regular season. They've won 3 of their last 4 games coming into tonight's game after previously losing 3 straight. They're coming off an overtime win on Monday on the road over Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves, or Obi Toppin had over 30 points in that game in the victory for Indiana. They're 16-8 so far against the Western Conference, 22-16 against teams that are below 500 this year. They begin a 5-game homestand tonight due to the Indiana Pacers themselves, and they're on the first night of a back-to-back. They've got Dallas tonight, then they welcome in the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow night. and Indiana. That gives you a lay of the land on both of these teams coming into tonight's game, gentlemen, as we focus in on our lead story coming into tonight. As we mentioned, the Mavericks just one game ahead of the Phoenix Suns going into tonight. Phoenix plays a little bit later on this evening at home against the Chicago Bulls. If the Mavericks lose tonight and the Suns win, that means the Suns will jump into 10th by virtue of owning the tiebreaker over the Mavericks, even though they would have the same record. So, gentlemen, as we look at tonight's game, if you are into the idea of the Mavericks making the play-in, tonight's a big game for Dallas, knowing what could be happening in Phoenix a little bit later on this evening.
It's huge. It's massive. That's what I said. The eyes of the nation are upon this game. Who cares more? What matters more than who the 10th seed in the Western Conference is?
Yeah, I mean, this is just the first of 7 out of 10 on the road for the Mavs. We've talked a lot about how difficult Phoenix's upcoming schedule is. You know, the Mavs' opponent's win percentage is not nearly as high as Phoenix's next 10, but a lot of those games are away from home. And it's been difficult for the Mavs to win anywhere, but it's been exceptionally difficult for them to win on the road lately.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, if you are of the mind that you want this team to make the playoffs, then tonight without Halliburton, this is a game that you hope to compete in and maybe win. If not, there's a very, very good chance that you're going to wake up tomorrow on the outside looking in of the top 10, and you might not get back there at any point this season.
And Indiana's a tough matchup. I'm sure you're going to talk about it here in a second, but this is still, just because the team looks a little bit different does not change the fact that Dallas's defensive schemes are the same.
Yeah, they play hard and Turner shoots. And you know, where I'm totally walking all over the injury report.
You're fine.
My bad,
you're fine.
but
You're good.
With Kai Jones playing, you know, the Mavs are going to have a center on the floor most of the time, which like you might think like that's actually really good.
Man,
Center.
It is hilarious. He's coming back against the one team that
that you don't want to play center
Turner
against.
Absolutely kills every time he sees on the floor.
Yeah, and
That's
you know,
so
like
funny.
the Pacers have destroyed the Mavs for most of the Kid era.
Yes.
You know, the Mavs got them pretty good at home in Rick's first game back, but otherwise, I think the Pacers beat the Mavs every time they've played, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a multi-year streak.
And I mean that is, you know, and they got clocked by those guys earlier this year too in Dallas whenever the Mavs were pretty much healthy. So that's a really, really tough team to play. And, you know, again, with Kai having played one game for the Mavs and then sitting out and then coming back, he's not going to have his wind. The Pacers play fast.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Turner shoots, so he can't play drop. And then if he gets out on the perimeter, he's probably going to get in foul trouble. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, tough matchup when you start looking at what the Pacers present. As Bobby mentioned, no Tyrese Halliburton tonight. He is going to be out due to injury, but they do have Miles Turner averaging nearly 16 points per game, over 6 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks per contest, which is 4th in the NBA this year. Pascal Siakam going to be available tonight for Indiana. He's averaging nearly 21 points per game and over 7 rebounds per contest in 66 games so far this year. PJ Washington is going to be playing tonight for the Dallas Mavericks after making his return after missing the last several games with the ankle injury. Of course, he had 29-12 in Sunday's loss against the Philadelphia 76ers. He's averaging over 14 points per game and over 8 rebounds per contest, which is a career high for him. Klay Thompson this year averaging nearly 15 points per game, shooting nearly 40% from downtown. As Bobby mentioned, this is a team in Indiana that likes to get up and down the floor, a team in Indiana that's number 8 this season in offensive rating, number 7 in points per game, number 3 in field goal percentage, number 7 in three-point percentage as well, and they're number 4 in the NBA in terms of effective field goal percentage, which allows them to be a team that plays in a top 10 pace rate so far this year. They're also number 3 in assists per game, averaging over nearly 29 assists per contest. The Mavericks and Pacers playing each other for the final time this season. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, the Pacers looking for the season series sweep. They won the last time these two teams got together, which was way back on November the 4th at the American Airlines Center in what was a 134-127 win for Indiana that night, a high-scoring affair at the AAC. Miles Turner had 30 points and 11 rebounds in that contest. Luka Doncic led the Mavericks that night with 34 points in the losing effort. Mavericks just 3-7 in their last 10 games against the Indiana Pacers coming into tonight's game. So the Pacers have had the number of the Mavericks tonight. And obviously, you guys mentioned with the guys that are available, one of those guys that is going to be back tonight is Jaden Hardy. We'll hear from Jason Kidd a little bit later on in terms of what the availability will look like for him. But what does he add in terms of not just Kai Jones, but just another healthy body to go against a team that likes to get up and down in terms of the Pacers?
I think you said it. He's a healthy body.
Another body
that's
available.
Pretty important at this point in the season for the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, sucks to it has been it's been way down the list of bad storylines for the Dallas Mavericks this season. But this is a recurring injury for him. This obviously missed the most time. After yet respraining his ankle yet again. So it's good to see him back on the court. This is, a player Dallas extended. He is someone that is very much facing the same conversation that we've had about Dante Exum, Spencer Dinwiddie. Is he going to be in the league next year? Is he, and if he's in the league, is it with Dallas? Is he going to have a true rotation role? Is he running out of chances? And this is a chance. This is a moment where, minutes restriction aside, he is going to have the ball in his hands because who else is going to have it? Not, it's him and Spencer Dinwiddie out there. So getting to see Hardy play and hopefully have a good close to his season has massive implications for him. And whether we think he's, we don't have to be optimistic or pessimistic or even weigh in. I mean, it's got massive implications, and
sure,
and we'll see what he does with it.
And unfortunately for him, this is something that is not, well, I guess signing the extension was totally under his control. But the fact that Hardy was extended and then basically relegated to the shadow realm for most of the year, Quentin Grimes was not extended, became an integral part of the rotation until they traded him, and is now completely popping off for another team. That decision, Grimes, look, Stein documented this very well, several months ago whenever that decision came to pass. But Grimes is not going to sign an extension for $6 million a year. Jaden Hardy happily accepted a $6 million a year extension.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why there was absolutely no reason to offer him that money if the Mavs knew at the time we're not going to give him many minutes at all. Why are you signing him up for multiple years at an increase? You could sign him for the minimum after this season. That's such an unnecessary expense to immediately then make him your seventh guard on your own team. And that included a time when Dante Exum wasn't even available.
I was going to say.
And so it's it was such an unforced thing to sign him to that extension and to choose him essentially over Grimes. Granted, you would have to offer Grimes a much, much richer deal. So, look, I mean, I don't know if Hardy's going to be on the Mavs next year or not, but I know that unless he plays very well down the stretch, no other team is going to want him. So, I mean, I guess the better he plays, the likelier it is that the Mavs could trade him. So do that information what you will.
Sure.
But, man, I mean, to give $6 million a year to a guy that you're not even going to play is such a colossal waste of money, especially when the backdrop is you gave up on a guy that just scored 46 the other night. And that's taking nothing away from Hardy. That's just that is the situation.
And we're not talking about Luka. We're talking about Quentin Grimes.
Right.
The guy who scored the 46 points the other night. Real quick, we're also on two-way watch as well, as Brandon Williams and Kessler Edwards are winding down their games. Now, Brandon Williams is going to be out tonight, but Kessler Edwards is available and played tonight, which means after tonight, he will have one game remaining on his two-way contract. So we will be saying goodbye, unfortunately, soon to Kessler Edwards in terms of his ability to play games for the Dallas Mavericks, not necessarily being off the roster, but not necessarily being available to play as the Mavericks will play on Friday.
He can be Tim Hardaway Jr. during the playoff run, the conference finals one, where him and Theo Pinson were the sideline crew that was.
What do they call themselves? The Mob Squad or something like that?
Bench Mob.
Mob, yeah.
He should wear a T-shirt of the color of the same color as the opposing team every game. Kessler Edwards. See if he can get another turnover forced.
We do have starting lineup number 38 tonight.
Oh,
let's go.
We're getting so close, guys. We can do this.
Yeah.
We will reveal that coming up here in just a moment. But before we do, we want to help you win some money tonight. And we turn to our guy, Bobby Corella, to help you do that when it comes to sleeper. My sleeper pick of the night. Oh, boy. All right. So first off, we got that 10% payout boost. That's a one-time thing you can do every now and then, which is always really fun. I think P.J. Washington is going to score at least 15 points. Mad Max Christie, he's been shooting the ball up and down lately, but he's had a couple good games in a row. So I think Max Christie is going to make at least 2 3-pointers.
And then Andrew Nembhard. Well, okay, so this was right after the news that Halliburton wasn't going to be out. So I don't know how this has changed, but I think Andrew Nembhard is going to score more than 10.5 points. I figure he'll be spending some more time on the ball, might get more opportunities to make some plays, do some stuff with it. And with the payout boost on Sleeper, the more you pick, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. So the multiplier on this one is times 3.09, but with the payout boost, it's actually a little more. So my $5 play, if and when I win, would pay out $16.99. Guys, that's more than queso. That's a whole dang burger and fries. All right? Wow. So dinner
Depending
and
on where
then
you go,
some is on me. If this one hits tonight. So that's where my mind and body and soul is at tonight on Sleeper.
So what we doing, splitting the burger up in thirds or something?
No, 1/3 for me,
Right.
1/3 for me.
Oh, okay.
And 1/3 for me.
Got it.
Use promo code DLS Mavs, play $5 to get $55.
Why would you taunt us with the promise?
All right, well, how about loaded queso?
Okay.
Not regular queso,
Now
loaded
we're talking
queso.
loaded queso.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay.
Got it.
Get some ground beef in there, some brisket if you're
this I can
feeling
get
real
on board
naughty.
Okay.
You're feeling nasty, get some brisket in there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe some jalapenos, some
Nah,
peppers.
Nope.
No, you can say
No,
that.
thank you.
Some
Keep that.
guacamole in the middle.
Ow,
No.
disgusting.
No,
I'm allergic to
Wait,
avocados.
Why would you
going
put
to
guacamole
vomit.
in hot queso?
All sorts of places do that.
That is so gross.
That is
Yeah, that's
such a
not
common
cool.
thing.
That is
Again,
not
that,
cool.
that
I-
is
I-
guacamole is disgusting.
Tan, I need you to weigh in. Do you put
I actually like
cold guacamole into
avocados
hot
in.
queso sauce?
I think I've seen people do it before.
That
I
is
think
like
I've
a
had
very
it.
well-known thing. The first place that comes to mind, torchy's tacos.
No, it is common. It's gross,
It's,
but it's
yeah,
common.
it's not cool. Yeah,
I think guac by itself
Wrong.
is nasty.
Whoa,
Guac is
now that's a bad
delicious.
take.
That's a
terrible take.
I am literally
Yeah, that's a bad
allergic to avocados, and I do not support that take.
I-
Guacamole is great. I don't eat it, but it's great.
Doesn't matter to me.
I'm glad you don't eat it because
I'm not judging you for eating it, but don't bring that near me.
Okay. Says the guy. Never mind. I'm not gonna name that brand because we don't do that here.
That's
We don't do
right.
we don't do free advertising.
Oh yeah, a taco place. I definitely didn't say anything else.
Yeah, don't give away the game.
That's right.
Don't give away the
Yeah.
game for free, for sure.
It'd actually be. I haven't been there in a while. It'd be
All right, well, you
sick
shouldn't go anytime
if they
soon.
came and sponsored us.
Let's get you tonight's injury report before we hear from Jason Kidd when he has a slight update when it comes to Anthony Davis. For tonight, for the Indiana Pacers, Jarris Walker, he is available. He's dealing with a right ankle sprain, but is good to go. Pascal Siakam is available. He is was listed questionable for personal reasons coming into tonight, but he's going to play. Tyrese Halliburton, he is going to be out. He's dealing with low back soreness as the Pacers are on the first night of a back-to-back. Johnny Furphy, he is going to play. He's been dealing with illness coming into tonight. And Isaiah Jackson, he's out, of course, with the right Achilles tear. I'm not going to let you know who's out because you know who's out. But who is available? Kai Jones, he is available. He's dealing with the left quad strain. Jaden Hardy, he is also available. He's been dealing with the right ankle sprain. Unfortunately, Klay Thompson was a late add to the injury report. He is out tonight due to illness. And Brandon Williams, he is out tonight dealing with left hamstring tightness.
What type of illness do you think he has?
I'm not going to speculate on that.
Like Tracy Morgan style, or
Hey, yo, man, that was weird. I'm glad he's doing okay, man. Apparently, he said he had food poisoning on the side there when he was at the Knicks game the other night. But that was a weird scene.
you think Klay had some bad oysters? He seems like an oysters guy, doesn't he?
Maybe.
I bet he loves shellfish.
Who can say? We should ask him.
Maybe.
I one time came down with a bad case of food poisoning on a bus, so I've been there.
Oh,
Oh,
It's
do you
not-
remember
it's
what
not-
you remember what you ate?
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to shout out the place that
You
gave
don't
it
have
me.
to. You just what was the food that you ate?
I ate some chicken.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh, damn. And it got you for food poisoning, huh? Damn. Okay.
It was really embarrassing.
well, if they
So,
don't advertise
Tracy Morgan, you and I, we're the same guy.
Yeah.
Same guy.
I've always thought that.
Been there, bro.
I've always looked at Bobby and been like, man,
Yeah.
we
Lot in
really
common-
are the
Him and
Tracy,
Tracy Morgan, that's
lot
right.
in common with Tracy
Of
Morgan.
DLLS.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Same guy. Same
Yeah,
guy.
of the of North Texas, really, North Texas region.
Speaking of the injury report, Jason Kidd provided, I guess, a small update when it came to Anthony Davis and what Jaden Hardy is going to be looking like in terms of his availability to play tonight. As Tim laughs already.
No, at the Ardell.
I was
laughing at Ardell's comment. He said, "I'll put guacamole on shellfish." I don't give a blank. It was a funny comment.
You living on the wild
Good
side,
job, Ardell.
Ardell.
You made me laugh.
You
That
living
is
on the
funny.
wild side there. Here's what Jason Kidd had to say when it came to Anthony Davis. Take a listen.
As you can see, Hardy's going to play tonight on minutes restriction, and so AD positive, trending in the right place. Had a positive experience in the practice. We'll continue to do things this week, and hopefully they continue. The outcome is positive, and so a lot of good things. But I think still some time away for him being in a game.
So it doesn't sound like Anthony Davis close to returning, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Is that what you surmised from that?
We should invite him to our golf tournament, though.
Yeah, clear an avid golfer.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's playing 5-on-5, granted, it was probably a game to 21 or something. It's not like a 48 minutes and they maybe didn't do full contact or whatever, but that's pretty far along in the process for an NBA player.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty far along.
Yeah, it seems like he...
Sometime could be a week.
I wonder if Kyrie hadn't got hurt, if we would be talking about him returning this game, next game, something like. Are they stretching it out? And Mark talked about this a little bit. When he says injury concerns for Anthony Davis, it's more like you don't want to bring him back just for him to get re-injured. If this was a team that was fighting for something that actually had a chance to, if these games mattered, if they're trying to get into the top 6 right now because. Kyrie had dragged them to a bunch more wins. Again, I'm speculating. Recky Specky.
Oh, you
we do
dropped
best.
the Recky Specky.
I think that's the first time I've ever said it.
That's why I was like, oh, you dropped the Recky Specky.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, look at you.
But it does seem like he's very close. And, as amusingly on the nose as a, guy golfing with a cigar in his mouth is, just in the context of Dumont saying, if you want to take a vacation, don't do it with us. Obviously, I don't think there's any real concerns or issues with that. And I'm sure that if he is golfing, he is, that's what I hear is that does strain the hip and the,
there's a lot of
swing,
torsion
the swing
and stuff
causing.
And so
granted, I don't think golfing is as hard on your groin area.
Right.
But I also
we don't know.
know.
We don't know. Recky Specky, but.
You should come out April 25th to find out.
I did go putt golfing recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was swiveling the hips a bit, but only a bit.
You missed the whole promo I was trying to put down, but never mind.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's gone.
Well,
you should come out April 25th. Come out and find out.
I am talking about that in the post game. You better believe it.
That's right. There it is, Tanner. The inaugural Lone Star Open, April 25th. 9 a.m. shotgun start. Stevens Park Golf Course.
Oh, yeah. Anthony Davis will definitely be free on that day.
Look at you, Tim. You're in rare form tonight. That's good. Let's get to our super chat real quick because I did see one of those drop in here on the DLLS
LFG
pregame show from Billy. Where is Salah Mejri and Yogi Ferrell when needed?
I actually saw Salah Mejri at my local Tom Thumb recently. My local grocery store.
He's at Mavs games pretty frequently.
Appreciate you, Billy, for the
Yogi Ferrell is not. Although, admittedly, if Yogi Ferrell was at Mavs games, I would not spot him as easily as I would spot Salah Mejri.
Yeah, Salah's very
So
tall.
it is actually possible Yogi Ferrell's at a bunch. I wouldn't say a bunch. I think at some point I would have spotted him. But he totally could have snuck in and out of a Mavs game without me noticing. Salah Mejri, yeah.
If I had to guess, Yogi is still playing. He is. He's playing on...
Wait, can I guess what country? Because he's not in the NBA. I'm going to say he's in Turkey.
He plays for a team in...
Or Belgium.
He plays in the Adriatic League for a team in Montenegro.
Montenegro. Okay.
Nice.
Budu
very good aperitif.
Volley, I think. I don't know.
From Noah Irby. Thanks for the 99-cent super chat.
Appreciate that.
Thank
you, Noah.
Really appreciate that. There was also a comment in there for you, Tim, specifically from Oscar Rodriguez. You forgot Ryan Brokoff. Yeah, Billy.
Oh, yeah, you forgot Ryan Brokoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy.
There you go.
Silly.
Yeah, silly Billy.
Yeah, let's edit that username, sir.
Yeah, let's put that in there. Let's take a look at our Mavericks player spotlight tonight. We focus in on Najee Marshall tonight for the Dallas Mavericks. Back in the November 4th game against the Indiana Pacers, had 20 points on 8 of 9 shooting, did Najee in the loss against Indiana. In his last 10 games, Najee Marshall averaging over 19 points per game, giving you nearly 8 rebounds per contest, nearly 5 assists per contest, and also nearly 2 steals a game. So Najee Marshall stuffing the stat sheet for the Dallas Mavericks. Not necessarily shooting the 3-ball great, but at the same time doing all the other things, gentlemen, when it comes to his play on the floor. Najee Marshall's been playing really well as of late for Dallas.
He's been awesome. He's been one of the very few bright spots.
Yeah.
Is there a word that is associated with sparks that I'm forgetting?
Los Angeles Sparks,
Well,
the WNBA.
Sure. Yeah, Najee's been awesome. I mean, they
Come on home, Paige. It's time to come on home to Dallas.
They don't have a lot of shot creators, and Najee in a pinch can be exactly that. Obviously, we've seen a few games where it doesn't quite work out as well, which is to be expected. He is basically being asked to, he's almost being asked the same thing that Quentin Grimes is being asked in Philadelphia. And, Najee hasn't quite hit those highs, but he has shown absolutely that every single NBA player does have more to their game, does have the ability to scale up. Now, can't scale it up to the point that you're a superstar. There's a reason the superstars are the superstars, but it's cool to see Najee do this, and I enjoy watching him play.
By the way, shout out to Noah Irby
Dude,
for
hell
the
yeah, man.
$4.99 super chat coming back on in. Homies, if y'all want coffee that day, come by Wayward
Off
up
Davis Street.
We're
Great
not
coffee spot. I've been before.
We're not too far from Stevens Park.
Nice.
Big love and appreciate the pod.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you,
Noah.
Noah.
Thank
Thank
you
you for saying that, Noah.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Speaking of
If I attend, I will go absolutely.
yeah, we'll come find you. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know much about golf, but I do know that I enjoy coffee. Big coffee guy.
Big coffee guy.
Yeah.
How about us?
I wouldn't say I'm a coffee guy, but I'm a guy that likes coffee.
Wait, Aussie Luke is here in Dallas? Am I reading this correctly?
What?
He's visited. He's not. I don't think he's here right now.
Oh, not right now?
No, not at the moment.
That
no.
is the location that I frequent.
Yeah, I go to that
Okay.
Tom Thumb as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not exclusively. I mix in an occasional Whole Foods run. And
I'm known.
if I'm really feeling like I need something special, like I need a break from the monotony of the grocery store, I go up to the Central Market off 75.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
I ran into
That's the
Tanner
best
at the other
produce.
store that I frequent.
Nice.
I
Best
would.
produce in North Texas.
That's a lot of
is at
free
the Central
advertising
Market.
you've been doing. too.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, it's true.
You're giving away the game for free.
I used to work
Lot
at
of the
HEB.
game.
HEB has paid me money, and Central Market's part of HEB. So I don't mind shouting them out.
That is still a lot of free advertising.
Real quick, speaking of advertisement, shout out on June 27th. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever going to be playing the Dallas Wings at the American Airlines Center. First game for the Wings at the AAC. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever coming to town June 27th. Tickets go on sale March 26th. I will be at that game because shout out to the Wings and Fever at the American
Game time promo code DLLS. Save yourself $20.
With game time. Who?
A lot of free advertising.
But we never mind.
Ain't nothing.
Right. A couple X factors for tonight's game as the Mavericks take on the Indiana Pacers again. Tip off at 6 p.m. You can watch the game on KFAA channel 29, also on MAVS TV as well if you're going to be watching the game. You got to try to slow down this Pacers team. This team plays with a lot of pace. Number 8 in pace. What happened?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh. Number 8 in pace so far this year. This show is completely off the rails. Go away, Adam. Don't you come on this set, Adam. Don't
Dude,
you see?
Feel free.
I knew I invited.
Take my spot.
You can't even see. You can't even get on camera.
You can't
even
fake
go
it
get on
and
this-
not do it.
That's Adam Mares, host of the DNVR Nuggets
Hey, you
show.
want the Mavs to win this game? They're so close
Do
to.
you?
They're
He
so
says
close
yes.
to increasing the lottery odds.
He says
that was
he
real
needs us to-
half-hearted, Adam. That was real
needs us to
half-hearted,
get a
my
win.
guy. He's got a busy
It
night
was very
because
half-hearted.
his Nuggets taking on the Lakers tonight. Big showdown, and he's not feeling that. We'll talk to him about that a little bit later on. But also, like I said, Mavericks got to play a team in Indiana a lot of pace tonight, and you got to turn up the pressure. This is a team in Indiana that doesn't turn the ball over very much. Only 13 turnovers per game so far this year for Indiana. For a team that plays with as much pace and shoots as much as they do, they don't turn the ball over.
Halliburton, man,
yeah,
he's a genius.
yeah.
And that's Rick's whole thing, right? Like, Rick is really, really good at coaching singular dudes with singular abilities and minimizing everyone else's mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, like optimizing the offense around the one dude.
Yeah.
And Tyrese is not Luka, but he is his own version of Luka. He's a one-of-one player.
Yeah, for the Pacers to have that kind of offensive efficiency and not turn over the ball, that's pretty damn good.
But without him tonight,
they'll
be sloppier. Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll find out right now as the Mavericks take on the Indiana Pacers. It is game time in Indiana as Dallas takes on Indiana on the road. We'll be back here 15 minutes after tonight's game is over with. We'll be joined by our National NBA insider, Mark Stein, live in studio as well with his thoughts and perspective on tonight's game. Appreciate our guy Tanner making us look good and sound good as always. Thank you, sir. That's our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Curl. That's our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you 15 minutes postgame right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.